When my grandfather was young, he could not let down a dare. If his friends dared him to do something, he would do it without any hesitation. One day, him and his sister were out in the yard gathering and splitting firewood. His sister was splitting wood, and she called my grandfather over. "Walt," she exclaimed, "come over here. I bet you will not cut my finger off if I put it in the chopping block." Walt, my grandfather, without hesitation, took the axe and proceeded to cut her index finger off. At the age of 9, my grandfather, Walt Smith, was playing with his friends in downtown Urbana, Virginia. Young Walt and his friends passed the local hardware store and saw some fireworks on display behind a large pane of glass. "That would be awesome to have some of those," said one of Walter's friends. "I dare you to steal those, Walt," said another friend. Walt, being the one who could never let down a dare, said, "All right, I will get them, and we can let them off tomorrow at my house." That night, Walt left the house, unknowing to his parents, and walked to downtown. Standing in front of the hardware store, young Walt pondered how to get those fireworks in his possession. He thought the best way to get them would be to break the display window and take the fireworks and run. The idea, which was never considered with the consequences, sounded great. Walt walked across the street to an abandoned lot and picked up a big rock. He carried the jagged, oblong crime weapon across the street to the thick hardware store window and heaved it as hard as he could to shatter the window, leaving the items open to his leisure. He took the loot back to his house and made it back inside without awakening his parents and without wakening anyone else to see what he has done. The next day, Walt's friends came over and were pleasantly surprised when he pulled out the fireworks and proved to them he had done it. "Wow," his friends said, "we did not think you would actually do it." "Well, here they are," Walt said, "now let's have some fun." While his dad was inside reading the newspaper, all of Walt's friends and him started to light the firecrackers in his backyard. Nelson, who's my grandfather's dad, disturbed while reading his newspaper inside, went outside to see what all the noise was. As soon as Nelson stepped into the backyard, Walt knew he had to hide the firecrackers or else his dad would punish him. Walt, being the young kid not thinking, had lit a match in his hand ready to light the firecrackers on the ground, grabbed a wash tub, and that was sitting next to him. He threw the match down on top of the firecrackers and put the wash tub on top of them. He sat on the wash tub and started to talk to his dad. Nelson asked Walt what he was doing. Walt replied, "Nothing, Dad, just playing with my friends." After the last word came out of his mouth, the firecrackers decided to ignite under the wash tub, sending Walt on a wild ride in his backyard. His father was just looking at him in amazement as all the firecrackers went off. Nelson, already angered, asked Walt once again, "What are you doing out here?" Walt, not thinking, replied, "Nothing, just playing with my friends." Nelson, angered that his son lied to him twice, grabbed Walt off the wash tub, lifted it off the ground, only to see all the firecrackers that Walt had stolen. Finally, in fear of his own good, Walt admitted to what he had done and told his dad the whole story. Nelson gave him a spanking like no other. One thing was for sure, Walt would never steal or lie to his dad ever again. Walt had to work and replace the hardware store window, the firecrackers, and his mother's wash tub that was destroyed by the explosions that it endured. Needless to say, Walt learned his lesson.